Welcome back to Total Lefty Disc Golf, and today we're going to be doing a fieldwork session. Today's goal is we're going to be out here in the grassy tree area of my apartment complex because it's extremely windy to go out to a big field. As you can probably tell, it's still extremely windy here, but I need to get some field work in, and I also need to get a video recorded. So here you are. So today's objective is I'm going to be working on my forehand. I have the NADGT qualifier coming up in about 2 or 3 weeks, and I need that to really be dialed in for those short approaches or even short chip up placement shots for off the tee for my rounds. I think that'll really help me in the long run, especially with the slower speed discs. It'll help me really secure my spot in those in that tournament. But without further ado, here we go. Alright, so to begin today, as you can see here, we have this similar somewhat straightaway shot here that has like a nice fade at the end. I have a bunch of approach discs from my bag and from my extras bag that I like to throw. So what we want to do is we want to separate them between our overstable and very overstable discs to our neutral to slightly overstable discs. And so I've already done that. Here I have 6 discs here. This is going to be my slightly overstable to neutral category, and then I have 5 here are going to be my very overstable category. And what we want to do is before we get started, what we really want to do is get a nice warm-up in. I've already done that off camera. Get some stretching in, loosen up the hand, loosen up the wrists, the elbow, the knees, the back. We really want to be loose because we don't want to just hop out of the car and go and get to throwing, especially if we're going to throw a lot of shots. The second thing we want to do is we want to focus on a priority for today, and for me that's going to be aiming. I want to get to the point where I can aim a forehand shot and throw it exactly where I'm aiming or very close to that. So that's why I have these overstable discs and these neutral discs. I want to be able to hit really tight lines or hit a spot and then have it fade from there. That way I am always going to be safe on my approaches. Alright, so to begin, I'm just going to take all of my discs and just kind of throw them out there, get a feel for how they're actually flying. We're going to go pick them all up, bring them back, and then that's when we're going to start taking lines. And now for the overstable category, alright, so that was my warm-up throw to really get to feel how the disc is, get my feel for the shots. I'm going to go pick them up, come back, and then we're going to discuss line hitting. So now that I've collected all the discs and brought them back here, I've realized how windy it is, so this is going to give me a very good opportunity to give you some pointers on how to throw in the wind as well as just with the forehand. So because it is a left to right, when the disc starts to fade for me when I'm throwing my forehand, that left to right wind is going to hit the flight plate and push it down. So for example, if I were to throw this with a right to left wind, when it starts to fade, the wind is going to hit the flight plate and it's going to push the disc this way, so it's going to fade a lot harder. So because I'm throwing neutral discs, they're not really going to fade that much. When I throw these overstable discs, they'll start to fade, but once they start fading, that wind is really going to push them down into the ground. And then with tailwind and headwinds, headwinds are going to make things be more flippy. So for my overstable discs, if I were to throw them straight flat in a headwind, it's going to make them want to just fly straight. And then these neutral to slightly overstable discs are going to actually turn a bit before coming back. So now moving forward into the gap hitting. So because it is a tailwind with a slight left to right here, I'm going to want to throw this disc between the small tree by the dog poop retriever and the other small tree on the left side. If I throw it through that gap, it should theoretically fade to the left and be over in that clump of trees over there. So we're going to try to do that with all of our neutral discs. See, and you saw how there at the end it dropped like very quickly. That's because of that left to right, as well as it fading. It's going to really push it down into the ground. So now that the wind is dying down just a bit, my discs are going to fly just a tad bit farther because I'm throwing them with less resistance towards the ground. Threw that one a little bit too flat to Anheuser-y, so it got a bit of turn out of that one. Let's try to correct that here. Oh, I did the same thing there. But it's okay because that disc is a slightly bit more overstable. Now with the overstable discs, I want to aim right at the top of this dog poop container here on the right side, throw it over the top here, flat, and let it hyzer in to the same area I was throwing those last discs. Okay, I threw that one just slightly nose up, and because of that tailwind, it's going to push it down into the ground as well, so it didn't have a chance to fade. Now, I'm going to throw two more just like that. Okay, slightly nose up. Let's put a little bit of hyzer on it. There we go. That's exactly what we wanted there. And these two discs are a little bit faster than those, so these are going to go a little bit farther. Just what we wanted. Same thing. Left that one a little bit inside, but we got the relative aspect of where we want it to go. So one thing I'm really focusing on when I'm throwing these shots is, as I'm here, I want to take my front foot and I want to point it about 45 degrees perpendicular to where I'm going. So if I'm throwing a backhand, I'm going to be 100% perpendicular. If you're throwing a forehand, you want to take that front foot and you want to angle it 45 degrees closer towards your target. When we're doing that, that allows us to open up the hips and really get the swing through and the foot follow through with the forehand. Another thing I'm really focusing on, my primary focus outside of angling myself where I want to throw, is the wrist snap when I'm going to throw. As I follow through here, I'm bringing my whole body forward and then I'm flicking the wrist right at about where I want the disc to release at. So if I were to flick my wrist here, the disc is going to go towards this first small tree to the left, and vice versa. If I were to flick it here in front of my body, it's going to go more towards the right side here and towards the building. All right, so the last thing we're going to focus on today is we got the hyzer angles, which is created by dipping the shoulder and having more of a upward flick motion. Now we want to focus on the Anheuser angles. That way we can get a little bit of distance, or if we have something in front of us, we can get up and out and around it. I'm especially weaker at throwing these, so these may not be as consistent as the straight to hyzer angles, but we're gonna do our best to get them down into that opening again. So I'm throwing this way, but because I'm throwing on an anhyzer angle, I'm gonna angle myself just a little bit more to the left. See, and I didn't give that one enough height, so it just dove straight into the ground. That one was a lot better because I put enough height on it where I allowed it to flatten out near the landing zone that I was aiming for. That one was good. A little unpredictable with the wind, but that's okay. I'll wait for a second. I don't want to hit the guy. That one was a lot better. I'm having to put more anhyzer angle on it because this the wind has now switched from a tail left to right to a tail right to left. So now everything I'm throwing is going to be a little more understable, or a little more pushed down. So it's not going to have that chance to fight out of it. And that's a good example of that. Those are my neutral discs, so like those are very touchy with anhyzer angles. You have to really give them enough height. With these overstable discs, you don't have to give them as much height because they're going to want to fight out faster. Like that one, I threw it on anhyzer and it almost immediately fought out. All right, and then here's the last one. And so those last two, I didn't put enough anhyzer on them, so they just kind of fought out and started to fade a little bit. So those are going to be a little more to the left of my landing zone that I was aiming for, but that's okay. We have lots of time to practice. We have another 2.5 to 3 weeks to come out here and really dial in these forehand approach shots. That's everything for today, guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching. That is going to be my fieldwork series that I'm starting soon. I'm going to be going through backhand approach shots. Today I did forehand approach shots. I'm going to be doing scramble shots, stuff like that. Stuff that could really improve your game. I'm also going to be doing a putting series here soon. Not really sure when that's going to come out, but when it does come out, you will know. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Hit that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you get notifications every time I post a video, and I appreciate you guys for watching once again. Peace.